Mango is scooped out and they put the kulfi inside, stuff the kulfi and then seal back.
So on the outside you're tasting the mango.
So it is the mango layer.
It's almost like a dense sorbet. Very tasty.
One by two here.
1 by 2. So what we've decided is to go for another kulfi.
A kulfi place, a place which is known for kulfis which are set in the fruit itself. So it's quite interesting, very, very special. So you really need to check this out. Mango, apple, orange or anaar. Mango is scooped out and they put the kulfi inside, stuff the kulfi and then seal back.
So what should we taste first?
Mango ya anaar?
So maybe we'll taste the anaar first.
Anaar pehle.
And it's a shop that goes back to 1906.
These are the fruit kulfis they do. Jamun, kiwi, pan, imli, nimbu.
जामुन, पल्सा,
जामुन भी है.
आप आते रहते हैं?
हाँ मैं तो मेरे पास में शॉप है
आप क्या खा रहे हो?
मैंगो
मैंगो, वही फ्रूट के अंदर जो है.
नहीं मैंगो कुल्फी अलग से
कुल्फी अलग से आती है. ओके, फैंटास्टिक. It's always nice to meet people who've been frequenting a place for a while, and that's the case. आपका नाम क्या बताया सर आपने?
संजय अग्रवाल.
That's what Mr. Sanjay Agarwal is building. तो पहले से आ रहे हो, सालों से. So maybe he was young when he came here first. अभी अपने बच्चों को ले आ रहे हो. Fantastic. It's almost like a dense sorbet.
It's a sorbet.
So इसमें there's no milk in this.
No milk. This is without milk item.
इसमें दूध नहीं है. It's a nice chatpata thing. So you consume everything that's contained within the fruit, and just leave behind obviously the rind.
It's actually very flavorful.
Okay, sir. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
See you. Happy eating. I think after that long rickshaw ride, this is just the sort of thing that you need. What's nice is that it's intense in its flavors. Huh? Of course, the pomegranate is a little overpowered by the kala namak, and maybe there's also a bit of saring, maybe some lime juice that goes into
But it
it.
complements it very well.
It's not going to be tasting like a pomegranate juice which has been made into a sorbet. I think you're tasting more of the sour notes. You're tasting a lot of the kala namak in that. बहुत अच्छा. I think I'm going to. तो सबसे पॉपुलर ये और मैंगो है. I have not tasted something like this before. Picturize a sorbet, but a sorbet that is not completely icy.
Yeah. It's quite smooth. But वही है कि it's not a machine churned. It's like a.
ये सारा काम हाथ से होता है.
It's more or less like a slush.
Yeah, like a slushy, but that is
which is
come together rather well.
very good texture.
Delicious. So there's basically a clay base which has been, which is holding that mango together with some atta, and that has just been cracked open. तो इसके अंदर और क्या क्या है? वो लाल वगैरह
चेरी है.
चेरी है और क्या पिस्ता है वो? Well, Amitji, ready?
Absolutely.
For the mango kulfi. So on the outside you're tasting the mango.
So it is the mango layer. Kulfi is stuffed inside, which is with nuts. And there's some cherry as well.
This is a little more mellow in its flavors.
Milk.
Very mild. It's more milky. As opposed to the anaar, which was quite punchy and quite chatpata. In fact, it is a sort that completely hit the spot, especially after that long rickshaw ride. This one is a little mellow. This one is a little mild-mannered.
And a bit denser as well.
I think outside the mango flavors that you're tasting, which is like a typical kulfi.
Yeah. The artistry is to the way they present it. In the mango, and then they take it off, peel the thing, then slice it. That's what makes it different and special.
And I can taste the nuts in that. There's the pistachio. The cherries are nice and soft. Of course, it's frozen in that kulfi.
Kripal also, you have to see, it's made with a real mango. And
Yeah, there's no essence.
that flavorful
Yeah.
pure is what you get, which has essence and color.
Yeah.
So hence, now it depends what mango they stuff it in.
Yeah.
if they
So I
stuff
think based on the season, huh?
season, kesar.
तो कौन सा मैंगो जाता है इसमें?
Kesar.
केसरी,
वो दशहरी
दशहरी. लेकिन ये साल भर मिलता है मैंगो?
12 महीने मिलता है
12 महीने मिलता है.
Mango, it's a complete mango which is slightly scooped out. उसमें वो कुल्फी भर के, उसमें वो ढक्कन लगा के, they freeze it for the rest of the year.
You got to hand it to them for the innovation, for trying to do something different, where the kulfi is made and then stuffed back into that mango or into that pomegranate or the apple or the orange and then sliced and served to you. I think that's a charm here. That's the appeal of what they're trying to do here. Personally, I think perhaps it's also because of the fact that we just emerged from the sun. I'm sorry, I'm slurring a bit in my speech because the ice cream, the kulfi is rather cold. I think because of the fact that we had just emerged from the sun, I think that pomegranate just hit the spot.
Absolutely.
The sorbet, the icy
was
sorbet.
beautiful.
Because we've been a bit satiated by that, this one also feels a little mellow. Perhaps if we had tasted this earlier,
first.
we would have tasted its flavors a little more.
छोटी-छोटी berries होती हैं. These are small berries.
So these are called phalsa. So this you get in the north. Fantastic.
This comes for a very
So this is what we're tasting next. This is the phalsa. Phalsa fruit.
available for a very limited time during
Fantastic.
summers. And these are very dark color berries.
That is the phalsa. Again, I think this is more like a sorbet.
Sorbet.
So this is what 100% phalsa. Or
Phalsa juice.
this is quite crystalline, quite icy in its texture, as I can feel it to the spoon.
Try one without masala. It's a little tangy.
You know what I feel is that this one, unlike the anaar which we had right at the beginning, which was a sorbet, yet it was quite held together. This one is quite disparate. It's almost like a gola in its texture.
It's good.
Ice gola.
इसको वो नहीं किया हो, मशीन में churn नहीं किया.
That's correct, and that's also the reason why I can taste a bit of the pulpiness of the fruit.
So there is no invert sugar added. There's no fancy glucose added. Because if you add those ingredients, then it becomes creamy. You know, like commercial sorbets.
And it's quite
when you churn
tangy.
them. It's tangy. It's just the juice. Maybe some added masala to it and just frozen. Churned. Again, a good palate cleanser, I would say. This is more like a granita.
Yeah.
Icy sorbet, which is granita. So
That's
what
right.
it is. That's what it is.
That's what this phalsa is all about.
Nice. It has a delicate flavor of phalsa.
You know, I'm also tasting now a bit of the skin of the phalsa. So like Amit said, I think here they take the natural goodness of the fruit. They make the juice and then perhaps they add a thing or two and then they freeze it. They churn it into that. You know, to me, between the three that we had, I liked, my personal preference went to the anaar and this.
Anaar, yeah.
And this. The mango kulfi, although very interesting in its presentation, seemed like a kulfi that you would typically find even otherwise. But these two I found rather special. And they also do a bunch of other ingredients. I can read a jamun there, I can read the panna, imli, nimbu masala, kala khatta, and then of course an entire range of kulfis from the standard like kesar, pista, plain cream, etc. So if you're in Delhi, definitely check out KUREMAL Mahavir Prasad Kulfi Wala. It took us a bit of an effort to get here from Gyani, where we were last, but I think the anaar was certainly worth that effort. As it warms up, you can also then taste some of the nuances. Pehle mein, when you put it first in your mouth, bas jhatka, shock, little sourness, thoda meetha.
This tastes much better
Now you're tasting the nuances, whether it's the fleshiness of the fruit or also some of the peel of that phalsa somewhere in your bite.
Much better.
Quite tasty.
What I was trying to do, just break down the ice.
I want to taste the jamun here.
Jamun as well.
I think you have to allow it to
Settle down
a bit.
Like the last one.
Wait for a couple of minutes. I was noticing as he was cutting it. So basically they put the juice in a tube after churning it and then they freeze it. And then he's just kuded raha hai usse. He's just basically chiseling it out of that tube and then serving it to you in that cup.
Very simple making. If it was churned in a machine with some stabilizer like glucose or invert sugar, so that will prevent the crystallization. That's what happens in a commercial ice cream.
But they're not trying to do that here.
They're not trying to do that.
They want to keep it as traditional.
And so that's the granita. That's why it's a granita kind of texture.
Is the Italian or French
the
word
same
for
thing.
it? But this is a tradition that's been prevalent at Kuremal since 1906. I mean, it's fascinating that these stores have been around for the last 116 years.
So this is the fruit pulp.
I'm just allowing it to melt in my mouth. And even as it melts in my mouth, once that ice disappears, you can taste the fruit.
Yeah.
You can taste the tannic weight of the jamun. Jamun अगर आप खाते हो, so it's the sort of fruit that weighs down in your tongue. अगर आपने एक बार जामुन टेस्ट किया, चखा, उसके बाद और कुछ चखना बहुत मुश्किल होता है because that jamun sticks to your tongue.
The tannins from the jamun there.
The tannins from the jamun, that's exactly the sort of flavor, that's exactly the sort of textures, that's exactly the sort of impact that this jamun sorbet has on my tongue. Very nice.
So try this now.
Now I'm biting into the fruit entirely.
No, this one. The whole thing. Take.
I think Amit is just basically getting rid of it. I think he wanted to stop with the mango, but I've somehow pushed him. ठीक है, falsa try कर लेते.
No, because there's something, Kripal, when I make. I make something with two things with jamun, which we'll talk later. So we do the same kind of treatment, but of course it's not frozen. So this has just sugar. That's it.
So good. So
Just a
good.
little bit of sugar, and the sugar is also not too much. And you know what? If you increase the sugar, it'll get little creamier. The texture will change.
You know what
But I think they've kept it right.
What I'm loving about this is that once that ice disappears, आपके मुंह में जामुन है.
Jamun.
It's a fruit, it's the actual fruit, chunks of it. And the other thing with jamun, sometimes when you're buying jamun, it's a bit of a lottery. Some of them are absolutely ripe, absolutely perfect. Some of them are slightly past their consumption time. That's a tricky thing about trying to pick the right jamun, right?
Yeah.
अगर आपको 10 जामुन मिलेंगे, उसमें आपको 5 सही मिलेंगे.
They have to be fully ripe. So the trick is to find for the softer ones, darker ones and the softer ones.
It's also not a fruit that travels very well.
Correct.
It's not a fruit that stores very well, and therefore it's very difficult to find jamun in their prime. And I think this jamun is just a perfect example of tasting of how processing a fruit can help preserve
Preserve it for a long time.
can help preserve its taste when it's prime. This is absolutely fantastic.
I think
I'm just allowing for that ice to warm in my mouth, and once that ice disappears,
see this whole fruit.
that's the whole fruit that you have in that. Delicious. They say you save the best for the last. We didn't plan on this, but I think inadvertently, that's what seems to have happened. Delicious. So when you come here to Delhi, zarur aana Kuremal Kulfi, Kuremal Mahavir Prasad Wale. A kulfi shop that's been around since 1906. Like I said, our favorites here were certainly the jamun, anaar, phalsa, and then of course you can also try the mango kulfi. If you'd like to support the work that we do at Food Lovers TV, do consider joining our membership community on YouTube by hitting the join button below or on the home page. You could pledge a nominal sum and receive special privileges like behind the scenes footage, shoot updates, access to live Q&As and a lot more. You could support us on our Patreon page as well. For more info, check out the links in the description below. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share and leave a comment below. Happy eating!